Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about how to attract, engage, and retain clients to your veterinary practice using digital marketing. In today's episode, we have a different kind of episode. We are doing a call with Michael Shirley and his team about how to build an email marketing system that helps to grow your practice. And so Michael had the idea, hey, let's record a one-on-one session where we go through and talk about email marketing, build out some different things. And I think this is going to be a really helpful episode because it's like a workshop style episode where we talk about how to build out email marketing systems that are going to actually attract clients and hopefully convert them into customers. So if you're not familiar with Michael Shirley, he's been on the podcast many times. He's probably the most frequent guest that I've had on over the years, which thank you so much for being on the podcast, Michael. But he owns Family Pet Health. His wife, Dr. Shirley, is the doctor there, and he's the manager, owner, operator. Actually, his brother Steven, I believe, is the practice manager. Sorry if I don't have the roles. He's the chief empowerment officer, is what I think his role that he calls himself. But we have Michael, his brother Steven, and Haley. And in today's episode, we go through building out some email automation tools. We talk about a lot of really practical things, and you get a little peek behind the curtain to see what happens when we do strategy calls like this. So if you have any questions or you need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think it's really, really practical. And so be sure to listen all the way through, and I hope you enjoy the episode. All so much for being on today's podcast / workshop. So I appreciate it. This is the first one. Hopefully we do this format again sometime. But can you just give us a quick background of who you are and how you got into veterinary medicine?
Well, my name is Michael Shirley. My wife, Dr. Amy Shirley, and I own Family Pet Health. My New Year's resolution for 2025 was to at least tie or exceed the amount of times that Cody Krillman has been on your podcast. So I reached out to you to beg you to have me back on because I think he was one ahead of me as a guest.
Actually, you're now one ahead of him. So you were tied.
Perfect. Great.
So now you're
New Year's resolution complete. I'm done on January the 2nd. With me, I have two of my team members here from Family Pet Health. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure, I will introduce myself. My name is Steven Shirley. I am Michael's older brother. And in 2019, he asked me, hey, can you come fill in just for 6 weeks and help answer the phones? As I was between jobs, I was working on my master's degree, and that was January of 2019, and now it's January of 2025, and I'm still here.
But no one is more surprised than our mother.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so I my title is Director of Operations. I oversee our CSR team, customer service, handle a lot of client relations, but also am involved in working with Michael with the marketing side of life.
All right. And we are rounding out our trio here today. We have...
My name is Haley Cameron. I have
move that microphone up into your face.
I think it's going to... Okay. It is.
It's not.
Way to go, Steven.
We'll stay. Yeah. Okay. My name is Haley Cameron. I have worked for Family Pet Health for almost 3 years as of next month. I kind of got into veterinary medicine on accident. I had worked at some other animal facilities like doggy daycares, boarding, things like that in the past. And when I saw this position open up, I was like, oh, I can do that. And now almost 3 years later, here I am. I am a CSR. So I work primarily answering phones, doing administrative tasks like that. But I also manage all of our social media and create all the content for that. So I'm excited to be here today.
Haley also is in charge of all of our public outreach events. So from our annual Walk My Dog Challenge that we have, we may talk about that today. Our grand opening, she crushed that event. It was awesome. And so anytime I have a crazy idea that is client facing or public facing, Haley's the person I go to help us execute that. She does a great job.
Thank you.
Very cool. Well, great to meet you, Haley. I don't remember if I've spoken to you before, so good to meet you. And sorry if we have met before, but I don't think so. Well, so today there's a few things that we could cover with respect to email marketing. So could you tell me real quick your major goals with respect to email marketing and also what you have in place right now?
So we just for those listening, you can join the Veterinary Leadership Book Club and do a search for the books that we've read in the past. There's a book called Traction that we implemented in 2022, in the spring of 2022. And it helps you really kind of take your vision and put it in paper. And then your whole team is always, we set company goals for ourselves. We have a 5-year, big dreams, 3 years, 1 year. And we update that 1 year every single year. This year, we just kind of set our goals for our company for 2025. And there's a couple that we think that using email marketing can help us accomplish. One of those is to increase our dental compliance. So in 2024, we had 3.3% of our patients received a preventative or regular maintenance dental procedure. And I think that we should be doing way more than that. And so, but I don't know how much. I don't know what's to expect or what we should expect for a practice our size. But that is one place, that is one area that we don't even have to get new clients in the door to grow our revenue and provide better care for our patients that we already have if we can get more people to do preventative dental procedures. So that's something that we have identified as a market, like a marketing effort that we have. Another one is to make sure that our clients and our team, but really just our clients, understand that we are different because we are a fear-free certified practice. We're the only fear-free certified practice in our county. And what we have found is that a lot of clients come here, but they know that we do things differently, but they didn't know that we're actually fear-free certified. And so we want to make sure that we share with them that we are different and set ourselves apart from the competition by the way that we provide veterinary care. And also that we can just bring awareness to our community about fear-free vet care, and maybe other practices will do the same.
And then
Gotcha.
piggybacking on Michael's first point with the dental compliance, we are struggling, not struggling, but wrestling with tracking and improving our heartworm compliance. We're in Tennessee, a deep red heartworm state that just tracking those prevention that goes out and improving that rate. And that's where Haley has spent a lot of time tracking and building and realizing that what we're doing is good. Industry standards, we're above industry standard, but we are not where we want to be, where we need to be. And so finding out how to integrate that, again, our existing clients and reaching them and touching them with our emails to increase that compliance.
Got it. That totally makes sense. Right now, how do you interact with your clients with email as it stands?
So we use Pet Desk inside our clinic, and Pet Desk offers the mass messaging feature that we utilize sporadically. We have not been focused on it, and I kind of made a point starting in September to be better. And from September on, so those last 3 to 4 months, we had more emails in those 3 months than the previous 9 months, 3 times more. We had maybe sent 1 email a quarter previously. And then the last quarter, there was in October and November, it was once a week. And that has generally been informational. It has been, hey, check out our podcast. Hey, it's Thanksgiving, and remind you that if your pet does this, and hey, we've got this event going on. There has been little to no call to action included in those emails. And that's where we're looking at for 2025, starting in January. That's where we want to start including is call to action. We're still going to be informed. One of our core values is educate. We want to make sure that our clients, our pet parents understand, but then so they understand the value. Now it's okay. Now let's have a call to action to actually do something with the knowledge about dentals, about heartworm compliance.
Haley, can you tell Brandon a little bit about how you've used email? We use MailChimp. We have a paid account with that we've been using for the whole year. And tell him how you've used email and that system for the Walk My Dog Challenge.
For sure. So the main thing that I would use MailChimp for is sending out our weekly emails. Those emails would include the participants' weekly challenge, updates on the total miles that I've walked, as well as a piece of information regarding either training resources or health resources provided by either us or our partner in the event. We would also use it to send out larger messages to get people enrolled, primarily based on the emails that we have from past participants. And then we've also used it sparingly to do other announcements for other small events. Most of the time that would be included in the weekly email they were sent for the event. That's about the gist of it. It's primarily just those weekly emails.
We kind of talk about what Walk My Dog is and who the audience is on that.
To an extent, yeah. Primarily our audience, we're trying to reach the past participants, but I feel like our new participants are primarily coming from our existing clients with us and with Whack It Better, our partner.
Yeah, so the Walk My Dog Challenge is for 8 or 9 weeks, depending on the calendar year. Participants register it's free. They walk their dog each day and they log their miles at the end of the week. And if you hit 50 miles, you get a Family Pet Health T-shirt. And at the end, we have awards and prizes that we give to people. So it's a community outreach event. We also participate in community outreach events throughout the year, from trunk or treat to the local Parks and Rec has the last day of the year before they close up the pool. They have a puppy plunge and everybody comes and lets their dog swim. And we have QR code, big signs that say scan to win. And people will use their phone, scan that QR code, enter to win the drawing. And now we've captured their email address. And we've been doing that for 4 years. And we don't ever use those emails. So that kind of sums up where we are with our email system. What we want to do is, first off, if I'm not using the system, like the paid subscriptions for things, then I want to cut that out. It's an expense that I'm wasting money on. But we have a lot of email addresses from people that aren't clients, but how do we reach them? And then how do we use Pet Desk to have a concerted, like a deliberate marketing effort with that to build compliance from the clients we already have? That pretty much brings you up to where we are right now.
Got it. And that all sounds amazing. So I think you have a lot of really good, there's just so many unique things about your practice that most people don't have in terms of like marketing collateral and things. So I think refining really how you want to engage with people is going to be the most difficult thing, because there's so many things you could do. With the Pet Desk emails in particular, I've not ever used Pet Desk. With that, are you able to customize messages, or is it pretty templated?
We can fully customize the messages. We are able to sort by species, gender, and age.
Okay. Cool.
I've
it's
only
dogs
sorted by species.
Yeah, it's dogs, cats, and other, I think. Or maybe it's dogs, cat. I don't remember exactly, but anyway, so it's not completely customizable where I can get it down to only sending it to Labrador retrievers, which I could do in the PIM system, but I can't. I can sort everything in a PIM system in like an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet. But then if I copy and paste those into Gmail and send it out, it's going to flag them as spam. That's been so that's the problem. When you have thousands of active clients, how do you message them and get past the spam filters?
Yep, totally makes sense.
And I'm willing to do that. I just don't know that we've gotten to the point where I felt like I only wanted to send it to German Shorthair Pointer owners of neutered male dogs that were 4 years old, which I could do. I could sort down to that through my PIM system, but I haven't needed to do something like that yet.
Okay, totally makes sense. So the thing that I would think about with your marketing softwares is, I think that Pet Desk, and this was my kind of understanding, that it's better for transactional emails, so reminders and like specific calls to action for segmented lists, because it has the PIMS integration. That's helpful. Um, but I think that there is value in having MailChimp or a similar CRM type like database that you can engage with on marketing emails ongoing. So the types of emails that exist, like you have, I think you should really excuse me, set up a welcome sequence. And with this first welcome sequence that's set up, I think it would probably be good to kind of reintroduce yourself. Then I think you have win back sequences, so people who haven't been there in a long time that you can export on a maybe quarterly basis or something. That's the re-engagement type win back. Then you have transactional emails that can be one-off based on PIMS data. You might send that through Pet Desk, or you could do automation built into MailChimp. And then nurturing emails, and I'd say that's more around building relationship, providing value, and education. So having a
And that's
mix
kind of
of
what we've
all of
already
those.
been. Yeah, I feel like the nurturing emails, that's what we've been sending. Like,
So
hey, we did a
the only,
podcast episode, we did a blog, read these.
yeah. So I that's perfect. That's what most practices have, are educational emails. And I wouldn't even say it's not so much as nurturing, because they are afraid to put calls to action in there. If you're telling somebody about something that's like amazing, and then you're like, there's all the info, good luck, you're not really helping them, because they can't take action on it, right? So like, if I think it's good to know things sometimes, but also like, by the way, if you'd like to get this test, or if you'd like to do this procedure, here's the link to book that.
I listened to a recent podcast that you had, and you mentioned that you didn't think, and I don't remember what the guest name was, but neither of you, I think it was the checkup guy, you all both said that you don't think that most clinics are sending enough emails. And I think I definitely erred in the side of send less, not to annoy them.
Sure.
And I don't know. So I guess that's what has research shown as far as like, when do you, if you're sending one email a week, is that too much? Or like, what do we, I don't want to overdo it.
I don't have any specific research on it. My thing would be that if you're sending too many emails, if people think you're sending too many emails, you're not providing value. So part of that first indoctrination welcome sequence really is built around setting expectations. So if you want to send weekly emails, you send in your intro sequence, we're going to send you weekly emails. And some people think that's not enough, but other people think that's, too much. If it's too much, just let us know, and we'll, make sure you only receive the most important updates and offers, type of a thing. And so then segment that way. But I think in any relationship, right, it's you're building a relationship. So how do you want to be communicated with? And then how often should we talk, basically? And then on top of that is, we're going to make a promise that we're not going to just show up for the sake of being in your inbox. So if we send you something, it's going to be important, and we really think that you should read it. So if that sounds good and is fair enough, then we're excited to have you kind of as a part of our hospital and keeping up to date. We're going to give you important details and info on, things that are taking place in the community, diseases that are popping up, and things you really need to know about. So I'd say it's more collaborative, and you're setting that expectation so that they are hopefully looking forward to it. And I think so many people look at email like it's just a broadcasting megaphone, but I mean, email is for back and forth. So I think if you can also get people to respond back, that's going to be more like a relational tool rather than just a broadcast channel. But it's up to you and how you want to handle this. So if somebody was on, let's say, your email list as a like kind of dream outcome, what would that look like? What would they get from being on that email list, in your opinion?
Well, historically, it's just been the nurturing education,
Right?
Feeling connected, because that's a core value, is connection. And so we want our clients to feel a relationship with us, but we've sometimes, hey, using Librela as an example, hey, there's this new drug that's available. We've done a podcast episode about it. Here's a link to the podcast episode to talk about it. Here's a link to some of the data behind it. And if you're interested, give us a call, talk more about it, or to book an appointment. And that was the minor call to action. No incentive, no, if you reach out this month, you can get a special, a discount, or anything. That's generally been our types of emails.
Yeah, I mean, for me, for emailing an existing client is different than emailing a client that we haven't had. So being able to sort things out, if I'm going to send a general email to people that we've met at a community event, I want them to book an appointment. And so I do not like doing discounts. I don't like to cheapen what we do, but I could see offering an incentive, like if you respond to this email in the next 7 days to book a tour or schedule an appointment, it's some money off. We have a little bit of openings in our schedule now that I feel like we could do that. Before, I didn't want to do any discounts because we didn't have any capacity, but we've added another doctor. We now have 5 doctors, so we have a little bit more capacity to get people in when they want. So, but an email that's talking about the importance of dental cleanings, I want them to book an appointment. Sometimes we send out people because we're just begging them to listen to our podcast. And so I think in an ideal world, whatever the purpose of the email was and the audience, it would be different for every single one of those.
Yeah. Again, going back to the pet desk emails, those are our existing clients. There is no need to win them in. We might be trying to encourage them for additional services like dental or heartworm compliance. But in general, it's just maintaining the connection. The walk my dog with numerous people who aren't clients, the entries in our Scan to Win from the general public, these are people who are not clients. That's a whole different email structure.
Yeah, the emails that we send to new puppy owners, I just want them to come to their next appointment and complete their series of initial vaccinations.
Got it. Totally makes sense. So one thing that I think would be, I think if you start with an indoctrination sequence, they'll get people on board with what you're going to be talking about, why it's important. And if you can provide some type of additional benefit immediately in that email that gets them to open it, sets an open loop so that they're going to basically complete the first series. I think a good length of emails for an indoctrination welcome sequence is between 3 and 5. I'd probably go closer to 5. And so when somebody opts in, they are hyperactive. Typically, they've just been there. The open rates are much higher on new subscribers than they are on old subscribers. So I think because you haven't been sending out regular emails all the time, basically sending this indoctrination sequence to everybody, both new clients and former clients. I think a lot of times practices get into the habit of thinking like they're an existing client. They already know everything that we offer. They know that we're fear-free certified. They know why that's important. They know that we do dentistry. They know that we have ultrasound. They know, but in reality, people don't know, or they need to be reminded. And so that recency bias helps to increase compliance. And then it also lets you deliver value and really get into explaining why that's valuable. So I think most pet owners don't know the value specifically of dentistry with respect to quality of life, and that it is probably one of the most important aspects of preventative care that improves quality of life over a pet's lifespan. So I think the first email that you'd want to send would be here's kind of the whole suite of things that we offer, our focus on you, on fear-free, why that's important to us. Here's what we're going to be delivering through our emails. Here's what you can expect. So it's important that you be sure to open the emails. And by the way, tomorrow we're going to be sending you something that's pretty amazing. So be sure to open it. So that it's an open loop. It builds anticipation for the next email and helps to get people on board with, being, excited to
Engaged,
really see
yeah.
what you're engaged. Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to
think
share
I
my
was
screen
thinking
here.
like we could offer care coins, like open this email and respond or click here to get some free care coins on your account. We have a rewards program through the Pet Desk app. We call it the Critter Club, and we give care coins for every dollar they spend. They get some care coins. We could give them some free care coins or something because they can only use those here, so they have to come into the office to redeem those.
I mean, there's other things that you could do too. So that is awesome. Care coins are fantastic, and rewards programs like doubling the rewards from their last visit or something, like we're, giving you something. But if you have openings, and a lot of practices have openings right now, and I'm sure there's probably time slots that are less popular. If you just reserve that time slot for like your email specialist, so like if you said in the next email, we have an appointment slot that we've reserved just for our email subscribers, and there's only one special link for it, so you have to
That's cool.
basically open your email, but you get a special time that's open every day. So if you need something, we'll fit you in at this time.
Do you give them the prime ones that are always full, like as a special? We reserve the 5:00 appointment on Friday for our email people, or do you
I'd
try
say
to
just like your
give them the less likely?
Yeah, I'd say whatever you want to test. I mean, if you make it the prime real estate, it's going to be more valuable. But by the same token, it just giving them something and saying, this is our email slot. It is the 11 to 11:30 appointment time. And if you need something, it's here for you. And I think that would be something that people would probably just be like, wow, that's pretty cool. And it doesn't cost anything. It gives additional value because it's providing exclusivity, and it's there for them if they need it. But it also could create urgency too, because you say, all of our other email subscribers also have access to this. So if you need it, be sure to book it.
I like that idea.
But that's like something that you could do. I'm going to be using ChatGPT to help you guys write some of these things. But things that give, I basically in the prompt, I talked about family pet health, what makes you different, what you really want to focus on. So like, here's a summary. So Family Pet Health is a fear-free certified practice dedicated to delivering high-quality medicine and exceptional care. We emphasize the importance of preventative care, such as dental and heartworm compliance, to enhance the quality of life and longevity of pets. Our mission is to partner with pet parents in the community, fostering strong relationships to provide compassionate, comprehensive, and remarkable service for every pet. Anything you'd want to add to that kind of major...
Listen to the Family Pet podcast. No, I don't know.
I think
that sounds pretty. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. With
it sounds like it could probably be for it, except that it mentions fear free. It sounds like it probably could be used for other practices too.
I think so. Yeah. They would say that, but I don't think that they would actually live it. And so,
gotcha.
Like people say community stuff. Nobody does community events like you guys do, for sure. Mm-hmm. You're constantly doing collaborations, doing community outreach. So, like the level of living it is actually when most people write it, they just say it and they don't do it. So I think that's the problem. But since you're doing it, it's going to come through. So, and going back to like not doing discounting, I think in terms of delivering value, so like things that people actually value, typically exclusivity is something that's valued. Reducing the effort that it takes to achieve an outcome is something that increases value. Reducing the time that it takes to increase to achieve an outcome increases value, and then anything that can decrease cost, whether that's time, money, any kind of resources. If you make it easy for people, it makes the value go up. So one of those elements is cost, right? Because that's the easiest way to measure value. But if we're trying to be truly unique, we need to explain what goes into making the sausage, basically. So give people a peek behind the curtain. So with this email, I think this is a good one to send. So it's welcome to the family. And I think trying to build people into your practice with feeling like they're part of the family, because it's family pet health. I think that's really good. And you're very hospitable and open. Your practice is beautiful. You have great staff and just a lot of really good things going for you. So I think something like this would probably be pretty good, and you can edit it down. But welcome to Family Pet Health. We're thrilled to have you and your furry, feathered, or scaly friend as part of our family. At our practice, we believe it's in more than just pet care. We believe in building partnership with you to give your pet the happiest, healthiest life possible. As a fear-free certified clinic, your pet's comfort and well-being will always be our top priority, whether it's a routine wellness visit, dental care, so important for their overall health, or advice on preventative measures like heartworm. We are here to provide the kind of care that keeps tails wagging and spirits high. Here's what you can expect from us moving forward: weekly updates and tips. Every week, we'll send you bite-sized, actionable tips, insights, and updates to help you be the best pet parent you can be. Think seasonal reminders, fun facts, and the latest in pet health trends. Exclusive offer, and I'll say updates from our podcast too.
Nice. Yeah, and I think we did this exercise a couple of years ago, where during one of our team meetings, I put some big Post-it notes around the wall and labeled them by the month, and I said, what are the most common cases that we see, urgent care cases that we see in each of these months, or common problems that we see in each of these months? And we built out a whole content calendar for that whole year based on what my team said we see the most here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And so that we could build out these emails and have them ready. We could write the email for October, the third week of October. We could write that now because we know what we're going to be dealing with. Is that what you're suggesting?
I think so. So okay. I think building out, those are the ongoing nurturing emails. And I think if you can write them as more advertorial style rather than just informational. So
right.
Advertorial is problem, agitate, solution.
Correct.
And then call to action.
Yep.
And okay. So it's written more as a piece of copy. But I think setting expectations and giving people something that incentivizes them to actually open their email. Then I think that the
third week of June, we start telling people, we send out that email that says your fireworks are coming. Yep. Your pet is terrified. Fill up your prescriptions now, so you're guaranteed that you'll actually get them.
Brandon, a couple of times now you've talked about open, getting the client to open the email.
Yep.
They're thinking through that there's more to what I'm going to ask, but what is a good, quote unquote, good open rate for what you're describing?
I think on most lists, you want to have between a 30 and 40% open rate.
Okay.
On email.
I feel
good now.
I feel good.
And then a click through, if you have a call to action, what's your click through hope dream?
I would say average click through is 2 to 5%, but I think it should be higher than that. I would want to get like 25% of people.
Okay. So if we're getting a good open rate, but not a good click through rate, then our offers aren't good enough. So we haven't stroked the problem enough.
I think it depends on how you write it. So,
okay.
Like going through your kind of toolkit, and the same thing goes for ads. If you're getting clicks on ads, but people aren't taking the call to action, typically the ads are too vague. The more like curiosity or interesting that you're going to make your email headlines, and headlines are what gets the click. You have to stand out and get it. So that's a factor of deliverability, making sure that it actually shows up, and then also that it's timely and interesting. So like if you said, for example, February is dental health month is your headline. That's not compelling. That's not interesting. That doesn't help at all. But like if you changed it to say, this one trick stopped his dog's teeth from falling out, or like all of the dog's teeth fell out. I couldn't believe it. Like people are going to open that because they're like, what the heck is this? This is different. And so sometimes having that high open rate is helpful, but sometimes it makes it too like, if you have a 70% open rate, your click-through rate's not going to be as high, but you will get more clicks than typical. So I would say if you're being clear and not clickbaity, but also not boring, like you have to manage that balance. And there's going to always be better ways to say things to get through the noise of the email inbox. And I think you are all creative and can get like very fun and creative with everything. That you could get much higher click-through rates. I'd say like 50 to 60% would be probably where I'd go for a goal, and that's a high goal for sure with email. But
yeah.
Well, I was just going to share. In our last 10 we can look at our last 10 Pet Desk mass messages, our last 10 emails. Our average open rate is 56.6%. The top rate was 59.2 and the lowest was 53.1. So, I mean, it is right at that 56% open rate. And those, again, are those nurturing emails. There was nothing in any of those email headers, description lines that would grab your attention. It was Happy Thanksgiving was literally one of them that we sent out on the day before Thanksgiving. Or
boring.
Hey,
now we need to make it work.
I'm getting 56% open rate.
Right.
We've got
if it's working,
clients,
don't break it. I mean, don't.
That's right.
So we've got clients who are interested in what we have to say. We just have to give them something
to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree. I think most people don't want more information just because it's available and they can go to ChatGPT if they wanted to. There's unlimited information out there. What people want is your insights and it distilled down so that it's a lot more helpful. And then said in a way too that's like not boring.
Steven just needs to write these emails what would make you open it, because you're the worst. You've turned off all your notifications for our
Yes,
business.
I do not get these emails because I've disabled my notifications. Oh, okay.
So you got to write subject lines and information that would make you do something.
Absolutely.
If I saw something from from Brandon, I'm going to open it because he gives me good content.
Right. That's what I have learned. There are many emails that I get every day that I just delete or archive, but I don't open them, but I don't unsubscribe because I like that person, like Donald Miller with StoryBrand. I still get emails from him all the time. I don't know the last time I've opened one, but I don't unsubscribe because if the subject line was something we were dealing with, like if he sent one about emails, I'd open it today because I really like his content.
For sure. So I totally agree. And I think there's, if you can come from the perspective of we want to deliver value, but we want to also like build relationships. So for example, like back to Thanksgiving, people always say like the 10 things your pet shouldn't eat. And that kind of stuff is boring generally because it's out there. It's helpful and it's useful. So you might get some openings, but there's like better ways to write that. So like, for example, if you love this movie, Christmas Vacation, like you could bring up like, are you making these Uncle Eddie mistakes this Thanksgiving? And like he's feeding his dog under the table and like make a joke and a reference that helps people to build like personality and relationship. If you have niche segments, like that's one thing that if you can give people more information about you and your practice and the culture of things that go on. There was this really interesting study that came out that it was like 34 questions to make anybody fall in love with you. And basically they would put strangers together and then they would sit down for an hour and they would talk about really deep, like what's one thing from your childhood that formed your adult life. And it was like very in-depth backstories. And by the time people got out of that conversation, they felt like they actually knew each other and they were like deep, lifelong friends. And they had the same level of like relationship as they would with somebody that they've spent a long time with. And so giving people context, building like inside jokes and, like if you could do funny jokes like what's Michael's mustache like this month? Like, like, I don't know, you're always growing the coolest mustaches, right? Like that's silly, but like people will know you from your content and like they see that and it's just something to bond on. And that kind of silly relational things, I think people get into like corporate email speak of like, best regards and kindly please, it's just not who you are. And I think it needs to be conveyed in the emails as well.
Brandon, when we think about emails, when we talk about social media, Haley leads our social media. We talk about some platforms. I don't even have those platforms. I'm too, quote unquote, too old. I don't care. Is email something that's across the board, or are we going to, if we focus on email, are we losing a prospective audience? And then the next part of that is, if the audience that uses it is one demographic, should we focus on the author of our emails being of that same demographic?
So that's a great question. With emails, you're going to have the same. I'm sorry. Email is actually tends to be less effective with much older clientele, but it's something that's universally used with every age demographic. You have to have emails to sign up for TikTok. Like you can't just sign up. And so you need to have an email address for all of these different platforms and social platforms. So everybody uses it, and you have to use it for work and school. And so even younger demographics use it. I'm sure they use it differently than older people do, but most practices don't have a huge 18 to 24 demo, generally speaking. And so it's usually the 25 to 60-year-olds is kind of the prime demos that almost all practices are going for. And that's definitely
he went with 60, so I'm still in that demo.
So, yeah, I'd say like, absolutely. But that's a good question. I think it'd be actually very interesting. I didn't consider how people are using email differently. Like if Gen Z is doing something weird with emails, or I don't know.
Right? I don't know.
I don't know, but that'd be very interesting.
I feel like our 26-year-old over here could write a
Steven. He's never supposed to ever talk about a woman's age.
He got it wrong. So
He got it wrong. Of course he did.
I thought you were 1 year older than my son.
What?
27.
Oh, there you go. She can tell her own age. Yes. How does this connect with our paid advertising, or does it, or is this separate?
I think having and openly advertising a family pet health newsletter and then packing in all the content that you have and delivering it in a way that's going to drive calls to action. And so I think an exit intent pop-up is just an easy way. And I know that's something you can put up right away, but just an exit intent pop-up that asks them to opt in and basically, says, okay, you're going to get weekly updates and tips, exclusive offers and events, and then behind the scenes sneak peeks and something like that. But just
so that's
you'll probably get a 15 to 20% opt-in rate for an exit intent pop-up like that.
So does that mean that we need to, and it doesn't have to be MailChimp, it could be anything. Do we need to maintain a separate platform for email management besides? I
think so.
Because because people that are responding to our ads aren't in our PIMS, so I don't have any other way to reach them, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
And so I think there is value in having that automation tool, definitely. So
if we're going to keep it, we got to learn how to do this.
We got to become experts in it.
Yeah.
So now, okay, I feel like I have a lot more information, but what do we need to do now?
So I would figure out and kind of work from the goals backwards. So it for both current patients and then prospective clients as well. Like, what is the end goal? What does that look like ideally for how often they come in, for what procedures they're getting? Like, how often do you think people should come in for preventative dental care every year, as an example?
Well, we want everyone to come in. We want every patient to come in to our office at least twice a year. So our goal was that people would come in for their annual. They would get a recommendation for a follow-up care, like a dentistry, and then we would schedule them for that. That would be minimum. Yeah.
Okay. Is that worked in as an operator or an SOP into your appointments? That like,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah. Like so our our
Hang on,
wellness
wait,
plan,
wait.
our wellness plan that
No.
we offer includes annual and biannual, and it includes the add-on option of the dental. So that's what we believe should be.
Okay. I like that a lot. So that wellness plan, what's your take rate on that? Like client wide
Like, what's our what rate?
Enrollment rate.
Enrollment rate.
He said take.
So
rate.
we're averaging 3 signups a week.
With no real effort.
Yeah, we're not.
That's a problem as well.
Again, we're not pushing it. We're not providing any call to action on it. We just,
Cool.
So
That
200,
totally makes sense.
200 total.
Okay. And how many total clients do you have in your practice as a ballpark in the past 12 months, for example?
I just did those numbers. 36.
No, it's 3,000.
3,600, I think, maybe.
Right, because you cheated and didn't.
And
let
people
me.
are like, "What? That's so low." We keep our list tight. Like if they haven't been in here and
Well, no, that's who we saw.
that's who we saw. That's
we
correct.
saw 3,650
Patients.
pets.
There's more that
Yeah,
are
pet
active,
owners.
and then
Sure.
and then because they had to have come in this calendar year. So then like I said, we update that. We because we really want to know what our churn rate is. So we are quick to deactivate clients, which people may be shocked to hear, but that's what we do.
Cool. Well, I think then a win-back campaign would be something immediately that you could do too to reactivate your people. But I think building in that wellness plan is actually probably the key to getting better compliance across all of your current clients. And then it'll keep them in practice and all kinds of things. But if you...
and I bet most people don't even know we have them. I mean, really.
I didn't know you had one either.
Yeah.
so that would be really good to highlight and talk about inside of this.
Isn't it?
What were you going to say?
I was going to ask Michael a side question. Isn't that on our expect poster?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not my fault that people don't know about it then.
It's not.
What's an expect poster?
An expect poster is a poster that is in every one of our exam rooms. It says at the top what you can expect during your visit today. And expect is an acronym that stands for our core values, which is experience, positivity, education, connection, and trust. And it is a checklist that is what's supposed to happen in every appointment. And wellness plans is on there. And maybe everybody does know. Maybe we're doing a great job.
I would be
I
really
don't know.
interested to see what, like, if you surveyed them, if they knew what it was. And what it included and why it's important. But I think developing, and with your wellness plans, I would say having exclusive time slots for wellness plan members would also be something that would be cool to do, especially if you have them opened already. And instead of giving it to your email list, give it to your wellness plan members and just really make it more exclusive. And then it sounds like that kind of contains everything that you want your clients to be doing on a regular basis anyways.
Yeah, and we updated those this year, which has made it easier for us to enroll and manage, which I think that was one of our problems. Is it was hard. It was really difficult. We had too many options, and now we have less options, and it's easier for people to register for those.
Sure. So I think that you have all of these cool pieces. I would say that probably your wellness plans would be the main call to action that I'd be promoting within email, just because the difference between email and like a social post is that you're able to really tailor the value that you're talking about. So in trying to get high open rates and be interesting, I would tell stories as much as possible. So that way you're not being like condemning of the person. They're not going to feel attacked or something, but like you could say, like the headline could be like, imagine you've never brushed your teeth in your life and then you started chewing on sticks or something like that. Right. And so people don't think like that's probably really uncomfortable. Like I've never brushed my dog's teeth and they've never been to the dentist. Like they're 7 years old and no wonder their breath stinks. Like, but talking about a story where a pet owner came in and here's what they were facing. The dog wasn't eating because it was so painful. And so what we found was we did these things and it did this. But the problem with that is it can be really expensive if you're not planning for it, which is why. So it's like problem, agitate, solution. Hook, problem, agitate, solution. Bringing people through like you're not just trying to sell them, you're educating them. Like, this is actually important. If you never brushed your teeth in your whole life and you're eating crunchy dog food, like, it's going to hurt by the time you're 8 years old, So this single thing could make the big difference in your pet's quality of life and be the difference between a miserable last year of life or a joyful, happy one. So, not being like that, overly over the top or anything, but like, that's the reality of it, right? And so people want to do right typically, but they just don't think about it or don't know it.
I really, in thinking about this, think that our goal, our focus in our existing clients should be the wellness plans, because that will lead to building compliance, because our wellness plans include heartworm prevention and they have the extra add-on for dental. So if we can get more people on wellness plans, it's going to be better. It's going to help us hit all of our goals. So if we focused on that with the existing clients, and then for the ads, you're saying, Brandon, that we can promote the newsletter so people can opt in. Like, when they see our ad, they can opt in for a newsletter from the ads that we're sending out.
So I would say that every time somebody comes to the site, as they go to leave, and this can be built super easily, but there's a pop-up that just says, sign up for our newsletter. Here's what you're going to get. And so then everybody who's coming from both organic and ads, it's like what would we call a downsell. So if they're leaving and they're not booking an appointment, it's like, hey, wait, be sure to sign up for this. And at least you're engaging. That
makes sense
somehow. Right.
I like that. You called it a downsell. I like that.
Yeah.
Wait, before you go.
Well, wait, there's more. Don't leave yet. I got my wife. Of a thing.
I'm like, please don't leave that. Wait, one more thing.
It works really well.
It worked.
Me too. Took a few times.
That's right.
One other thing that I think might be really cool to test out is this tool here. It's called Bonjoro. This is a really, really cool tool because it lets you do personalized video. And so if you're trying to maybe re-engage people, you can have pre-recorded messages that go out, and it's different it just looks completely different than everything else. And it integrates into MailChimp. And so you could have like a funny email sequence of like, is it something we said? And then like, we've noticed you haven't been in 18 months and we just really miss you. We want to be sure to, make sure your pet comes in and gets the best care possible. So like, you can have just a ton of different emails that are re-engaging, but this thing sends out personalized videos. So it's really cool. You have an app and you would get notifications, and you could either make a custom video and it says like, write a dental appointment request for Max the dog, and it'd be like, you'd open it up and you'd say, hey, I just wanted to say thanks for coming in, wanted to make sure you knew about this, we really enjoyed seeing Max. The difference is it's personalized and it looks and feels completely different from everything else, and anytime you can stand out and be different, it looks different. So an example of this was, I used this for a webinar that I did, and I had, I think, like 250 people sign up. So it took a lot of time. And so every time somebody would sign up, immediately I would record a video, and it would be like, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I'm so excited you signed up for my webinar. I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm excited to see you on it. If you have any questions, let me know. And then my show-up rate for the webinar was 90%. Right? And usually show-up rates are like 15 to 20. And so it just was actually personalized. It was really easy to do. You don't have to upload things. You don't have to wait for it to upload. So this is a really cool engagement tool, and like sprinkling this in every once in a while. And it's, I know that there's a free trial that's completely free, but you could just test it and see. But if you just said like a thank you email that included this, and it just had a video that said, we really had a fun time meeting you and your pet, and just wanted to make sure you knew about this. A lot of clients don't know, but it's really helpful because our wellness plans help save money. It helps your pet live healthier life. And so we really suggest our clients do this. If you have any questions about it, let us know. But here's a link to get that.
I'm signing
I
Dr.
bet
Shirley
you're,
up.
We want to use the tools. She will never do that.
yeah.
I'll record it with her and beside me going,
You could just stand there and say, Dr. Shirley's in the background. She was just telling me that she really enjoyed.
She told me to tell you
seeing
this. Right, Dr. Shirley.
Exactly.
So just give it a thumbs up in the background.
We'll just
Exactly.
walk around it every time and just
That's cool.
It's
I'll
perfect.
check that out.
But that's a cool tool. But I think giving people more personal touch and more connection, like I don't think you should treat your email any different than you would like if you're doing follow-up calls with the CSRs.
Okay.
Like you want it to be personal. You want it to include as much personality as possible and really help people get bonded to your brand in a way that helps to stand out. So especially for
Haley, would the CSR team rather send emails or make a video to thank a follow-up phone call or follow-up message video?
You could convince me to make a video, but nobody else.
That's kind of what I thought.
So you could have pre-recorded ones, and I bet you they're going to do an AI one so that like you'll just upload videos, and then it'll be you, AI Michael, talking to everybody.
Correct, and it'll dub in their pet's name, and so if I just say, "Hey, thanks for coming in," blank,
but it'll look like
it'll look like I said it. Yeah, a deep fake.
A deep fake. I think there was a senator on TikTok who was really popular, but until the TikTok ban came around. And he
Jeff Jackson.
I'm pretty sure those are all
Congressman.
deep fakes. I'm almost certain of it because the backgrounds aren't real. So I think those are AI videos that they just uploaded a script. But you probably didn't know it. I'm like 99% certain. I can't verify it. But like this is just.
Don't break my heart. I thought he really was talking to me.
I know. I liked his content a lot too, but I'm pretty sure it was not him. In at least some of them, like you see his background kitchen, it's definitely a green screen at the minimum, but he's not sitting there with like a nice bokeh with a blurred background and like it's so. Anyways, I think it's really effective and different, for sure. But like that's just another tool that you could use and integrate into this. And if you want people to consume more of your videos and your social content and things like that, giving them the same medium that you want to train them on. I think that's really important. So calls to action inside of email need to be trained to the same, like, so benefits that you have, for example, need to match up with how you want to train them. Like just if
Is
your
there
dog
still
training.
a question? Is there still a question on our new patient forms that ask if their pet has its own Instagram?
yes.
Okay. So for those people, we should definitely make one of these Buongiorno videos and tell them about all of our social media channels so we can we know that you follow us or something. I don't know. It might be
Sure.
That would be super personalized.
Yes, it's super. I'd say just test it out and you get 50 free videos, no credit card required, which is cool. And I've used it with a lot of success, and I think it's just a cool tool to do. I've used it with Dr. Beckman and other things too in the marketing campaigns. When somebody like finishes a course, they would get like I'm so proud of you, congrats, video that was custom.
We could do that for the puppies when they finish their puppy vaccination series. We'll send them do you know, or especially dental videos or dental procedures. We can be like, did you know that you're better than 95% of all pet owners because you did a dental procedure? I don't know. I like this idea. I'm intrigued by
I think
it.
maybe creating like a family pet health award or something, like you're an elite pet owner. Like it's something that's aspirational and gives people status. And so those types of things. And really figuring out that ascension path of where you want them to be. And I think the wellness plan is going to be it. And then having all paths kind of lead to that. An example of that was, and there's a company called Digital Marketer. They were a lot more popular a few years ago. They got sold, but like in everything that they would do, they would be like, oh, and we talk about this stuff at our high-end mastermind. That's called War Room. And that's invite only, but like it's an amazing event. And they would just drop that in every piece of content that they did. And I was like, what is this War Room? I really want to find out about it. And it turns out it was a $40,000 a year mastermind that you'd pay for. And it did a good job of making it exclusive. And so talking about the pet owners that are part of your wellness plan and naming it something rather than like it's our wellness plan. Like everybody has a wellness plan. Banfield has one. So like, who cares? I know what that is. Making it actually unique and a product that's not commoditized will help you to be able to compete on something other than price as well. So, I think there's just a ton of ways that you could go about. So like the next email could be, this is our family pet health secret. We want you to know, but most people don't know about it. And it's like, this is the thing. Only 5% of our clients right now are part of this new family pet health wellness plan. And here's why we think it shouldn't be secret anymore. And then go through all of the benefits.
We can talk about budgeting. People, the number one complaint is how expensive pet care is getting. And this can help you budget more and provide better care for your pet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then
all right.
Sprinkling that into your content as well. So when you're doing a dental health podcast, talk about, this is exactly why we developed our wellness plan, because, and so in all of the other content that you're producing, it needs to be a focus that is consistent. So like the same thing that you have your pictures and the way that your social feels across all channels, I think having that end marketing goal that we're going to try to get 50% of our clients on a wellness plan or something like that, so that all of the content is pointing to that aspirational ascension, basically, where they're the better pet owners. Like, so that's I think I wouldn't want to call them better pet owners, right? Because then you're alienating part of your audience.
Yes, you're right. You're
saying it in
correct,
a way that's going to be, helpful and things. So with that, do you have like any? I think generally speaking, it's better to start at the bottom of the funnel and work upwards in any type of marketing that you're doing, just because you're going to see ROI, right? So I would figure out your core win-back sequence, because that's going to be low-hanging fruit. People already know, like, and trust you. Life's gotten busy. They just haven't been in. So re-engagement sequence, welcome sequence that indoctrinates everybody that's new and helps to point them to a specific offer. And then as far as like balance of emails go, I would probably focus 25% on transactional emails, probably 50% on nurturing emails, and then maybe another 25% on just relational update type things, like timely, useful tools.
All right, give me that breakdown again.
Yeah, so 25% is transactional. But I would always I wouldn't just be like, this month's special is, and then like, here's a link to get it. Like that's boring and lame. So your transactional emails still need to tell a story, provide value, because you're trying not to discount. I would actively not be like, here's our special of the month. I would be like, here's exactly why your pet needs dental care, and come up with creative and fun ways to do that. That's not boring. And then 50% are nurturing, because you guys are creating so much content. It'd be like, here's this week's podcast, and here's things that are happening around us. Here's the events that we're doing, those types of things. And then 25% would be timely tips. So like this, we're coming into heartworm season, and this is a huge problem. Here's why you need to know. So that's still pretty nurturing, but it's more direct response focused.
Okay. All right. Well, you've given us a great deal to talk about and think about. We're, like I said, we need you and everyone out there listening to hold us accountable, and we'll report back what we're seeing.
Okay, cool. I'll write you a sample win-back sequence, and it's going to be not tailored or anything to like how I think you'd want to say it, but it'll probably be a good template. And I think one thing like with list maintenance is you don't want to send emails to people who don't open your emails, because that, just like with SEO and things, like if somebody searches for like vet near me and you consistently don't get clicks on it, Google is going to deprioritize, because your click-through rate is important in your SEO rankings. So like you have to get clicks. It has to be compelling. Same thing goes for your deliverability rates. If you start sending emails and people are not opening them and they're just, archiving them, your deliverability is going to go down too. So if somebody hasn't engaged in a year and they're not opening, having an email that says, is this goodbye? Like we don't want to bother you. And we hate the used car salesman type people who constantly are, being pushy and trying to get you to open. So if you're not interested, that's totally okay with us. We're here for when you need us. But if you are, be sure to click in this email, respond to us, let us know, how we can help you, type of a thing.
All right. Any other questions from the peanut gallery here? Steven?
No, I'm kind of thinking through, Brendan, what you kind of broke down. If you have 4 different types of emails, or 3, but one is twice a month, that on the first week of every month, it's one thing, but then the transactional, because I don't want it to be, hey, the first week is when I get the special, that I move the transactional between the second, third, and fourth week of each month, and that's where my special runs. But that first month is our, hey, here's what's coming up, and that's just pretty much a straightforward informational. Right. And then I rotate the other 3.
I would try to do more storytelling in your transactional. So like interesting cases and how it could have been prevented, and here's why you should do this preventative thing. And I think that's a better and more compelling and more interesting way to sell in transactional, is through stories.
Sure.
So, for
if
example,
I've got a heartworm, if I've got a heartworm positive dog, get the owner's permission. Hey, let me tell you a story here.
Right.
Hey, here's how you prevent this. And to help you with that, we want to offer you this. If you book this week.
Right.
If it's booked this week.
Haley, do you have any questions?
I don't think so. I think you've already answered all of them as we've gone through.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And tell us your podcast so everybody can go subscribe and listen to it.
That's right. The Family Pet Podcast is very easy. It's at thefamilypetpodcast.com. It's the podcast for curious pet parents, because we believe the more you know about pet healthcare, the better pet parent you can be. And if anybody out there listening wants to be a guest, hit me up.
Yep.
Michael at familypethealth.com. We would love that. We're always looking for guests. This is a client-facing podcast, and it's been a lot of fun. Stephen and I have had a great deal of fun doing it. And if anybody out there wants to be a guest, let me know.
Do you have any special requests that you'd really like oncology, any specialties, or behavior? What do you think?
Anything that you're passionate about, that you want a pet owner to know, that's what we want you to talk about. Like, we have we've talked about everything from mushrooms to
flying with your pet.
Yep.
We've done oncology,
ER medicine. We've talked about it all, but now, we're repeating, but every guest is different and has different information to share. So we're excited to talk to anybody that's passionate about client education.
And we can never talk enough about heartworm prevention.
That's right.
So if that's your passion, come on. We got a spot for you.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate your time today. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Brandon.